Hi everyone, this is Juanita Carbo with HOA Community Solutions, and today is Sunday and I'm coming to you from home, my home office. But I was thinking a little bit this weekend about a question that I'm often asked, and I wanted to film a video about this while I was thinking about it. It's January, and this is a time where there's a lot of new board members who have just been elected at the annual meetings, and they have a lot of questions. They want to know, what is the management company supposed to be doing, and how much are we paying you, and what are we paying for? And those are all good, legitimate questions, and I'd like to try to answer them today. So first of all, if you don't have a copy of your association's scope of work, please ask your manager for that. Scope of work is a summary statement of all the different things that we are doing for your community on a regular basis. Now, some communities have hired us for a very limited scope of work, something like maybe just the bookkeeping and the collections process, and others have hired us for full service management, where we're in your communities doing inspections, attending board meetings, all kinds of full service activities included in that. So, and in the middle is our basic community management, which is sort of a hybrid management, but it's virtual management. So most of what we're doing is via telephone calls and emails, perhaps some video conferences, but we're not actually driving out to your communities on a regular basis. So let's talk a little bit about, what does your management fee include? So when you think about your management fee, think about two different things. First, think about a giant bucket, and that bucket is time. And in fact, you have purchased time. You've purchased your manager's time, as well as a lot of other individuals who work for our company. So I'm going to talk about that. And the other component is overhead. So we have an office that is open 5 days a week. We have someone answering the phones and returning phone calls during business hours. We have an emergency line to deal with emergencies that come up. And part of your management fee goes to keeping us operational. So paying for software and computers and travel mileage, all of the background stuff that helps give your homeowners good customer service. But I'd like to go back to that bucket of time, all right? And I'd like you to visualize the fact that we have lots of little cups being poured into that bucket, and there's different staff that are pouring different buckets of, or different cups of time into your bucket. I'll start with our front desk associate. Many homeowners call with basic questions. They might want to drop in, pick up a form, make a payment, drop off a lender questionnaire that needs to be filled out, have a question that the front desk associate needs to transfer over to another person in our office. But that person's time definitely is spent working with your homeowners. We have an accounts receivable department that bills your assessments and applies late fees, handles the delinquency process and the collections process, applies liens, releases liens, works with your association's collection attorney or collection agency to make sure that we are pulling in as much revenue that is owed to the association as possible. We have an accounts payable department that pays all of your association's bills. We want your vendors to be happy, and that means paying them quickly. So we pay bills just about every day of the week to make sure that that happens. We have an escrow department. The escrow department processes all the demands that come in for sales in your community. We want to make sure that if the association is owed funds from a homeowner that's selling, that debt does not transfer to the buyer. We want to make sure that the buyer comes in good standing and unencumbered by any debt from the previous homeowner. So we handle the collections process. We move the old homeowner out, move the new homeowner in. We send the new homeowner a welcome packet full of information, your rules, regulations, forms that they might need, information about the assessment and the assessment policies. So that's what escrow does. We also have an accounting department, and those individuals are the check and balance for you every month. So when their bank statements come, they go through and reconcile all of your bank accounts. Any bank account that we manage is reconciled on a monthly basis. We'll reconcile that, make sure everything is in good order, and then generate the reports that your managers provide to you at the conclusion of each month. The accounting department also prepares your tax returns, so the community can review those tax returns and then file them with the IRS, unless you're a community that goes through a formal third-party audit process. If that is the case, then the auditor prepares your tax return and files it for you. But our accountant still prepares all the documentation for the formal audit. Whether you have a manager that does inspections in your community or you are on a basic management agreement, which means you're calling in potential violations and having us write letters to your homeowners about those violations, either way, our compliance department plays a major role in getting those letters out to your homeowners, giving the homeowners several options as to how to respond to let us know if they've resolved the issue or if they have questions about how to resolve the issue, or perhaps they're going to ask for an extension from the board or a hearing with the board as to how to remedy the violation. Our compliance managers interact with your homeowners on a regular basis, and if they can't help them solve the issue, then they forward the issue on to your manager. So that brings us back to your manager. Your manager is your point of contact. They run interference, if you will, with all of these other departments, and we try to make it work seamlessly for you. So you have a lot of folks working on your behalf here behind the scenes, but your manager's bucket of time is probably the one that you're most cognizant of and most aware of. If you don't know how many hours your manager should be spending on your association, ask them. They should have a breakdown of how your management fee was calculated and how many hours of their time they're supposed to be providing you each month. With that, I hope this answers the question of time, how much you're paying for, what does your management fee go towards, and what does your management company do. As always, I love to hear questions from you about things that you want to know more about, ways that we can help you do a better job in leading your communities. But until then, lead on.